everyone. Welcome. It's another episode of Giggly Witches. Woo! It's
Hooray.
Sadie and Pam. Well, my Zoom just said playing music. Thank you. My voice
Oh, I
sounded
think I
so
am.
good. Oh,
What was it?
I was like,
I
it's
had
me.
a
My woo sounded so musical.
melodic. Yes. I forgot I had a
Pam's gonna
YouTube
turn off her
video.
background music, and I'm gonna tell you that today we're talking about grounding and protection, protecting your energy during the holidays because the holidays they can be a lot for I would I would dare to say most of us, if not all of us.
Yes.
Even if we are on good terms with our family and we love them and we're excited, it can still be draining. It can still feel a little chaotic. It can, I mean, come on. I think we all have at least one relative that says things they shouldn't, or we feel defensive, like we need to speak up or change their mind about something, right? So we want to spend today talking about some ways that we can stay grounded, we can protect our energy so we can enjoy our holidays as much as possible.
Yes.
But before
Yeah.
we do that, Pamela Lamb, it's time for silly goofy time.
Silly goofy time.
You got some silly goofy for me?
I do kind of have a silly goofy. So this is, I think I'm going to take my glasses off because seeing the light reflection in the glasses
Okay.
is really bothering me. Okay. That's not my silly goofy. My silly goofy is that at work, at the bar I work at, obviously we have security because it's downtown Nashville and whatever.
And
You
I
need a
just know
bouncer.
how absolutely frightening it is there. Pam
They
was like, I
just
was like, Pam, should I come to Nashville for New Year's? And she was like, yeah. And then she keeps sending me these really scary videos of all
about
the
everybody
terrible
getting
things that
roofied
happen there.
in Nashville.
I'm like, oh,
I'm like, it's
can't
fine. I
wait.
don't go out
I,
downtown.
I can't wait to come. You're really selling me on it.
Listen,
Maybe you should come to Marshfield.
JBJ's is fine. JBJ's is fine. I have really good security at the bar I work at. They're very good about it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's just certain bars that you don't go to in downtown Nashville because they are notorious for
Yeah, I saw it was like
roofies.
only order beer because even the bartenders are doing stuff, so don't get anything that's
Yeah.
made by somebody. I was like, geez, this doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
To think about all that. I mean, you should always be thinking about that stuff a
You
little
know,
bit, but like you shouldn't
yeah.
have to be like, oh, I can't order my vodka soda because I'll die. I'll get kidnapped and I'll die.
I think
Anyways,
knowing that maybe that also will help you understand why I am so like you're
you
always like,
don't.
well, I want to do this, I want to do this, and that I'm just like,
You're
what
like,
do you mean? It's
it's like,
because
how are you alive?
literally, like the last 5 years of my life has just been
To be fair, I definitely could be more meticulous. Okay. Okay, quick tangent. But on Saturday night, I once again found myself in a car
Sadie.
getting a
I don't even have your location anymore. I
I
never
meant like
had your
a
location, also, it just never
it
worked.
never,
So
I
it was
sent it
like,
to Pam and
if
it
Sadie
never
gets
populated.
kidnapped,
It
I
was
definitely
like
don't
she
know where
doesn't
he is.
exist. Um, but whatever. I made friends. It was like a group of people. I don't know. I know this is absolutely not a thing, but I was like, I have a girlfriend here, so it's probably safe, right?
It's better.
It's better.
It's better.
Um, but yeah, I did get a ride to the next bar in the truck, and then one of the guys was like, you just hopped in a car with us. You just met us. And I was like, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I was like, thank you for Dad, if you're listening. Sorry about that. But like we talked about, I believe the best in people. I do, but I do know and I do trust it when I get a bad feeling because the story from the other week when the guy was following me and he wasn't
Yeah,
technically doing anything, but I was like bad vibes. I know right
icky.
away.
Yeah,
And my brain kept being like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. Oh, whatever. But I was like, no, I know
yeah.
this is bad.
No, I'm the
So,
opposite. You have to prove that I can trust that I won't end up in your freezer.
but I should stop just getting rats from people. I
Yeah.
should.
I mean, that's like the like one of the funny things, right? Is that like our whole lives growing up, we were taught don't get in a car with strangers, don't
Yeah.
or like don't open the door for strangers, don't pick
Yeah.
take food from strangers, and now these days we order all of these things
Honestly,
from our telephones.
I did think it was interesting though, and I feel like I kind of manifested it because I went to the faraway part of town here in Puerto Escondido and I hung out there for the day. So I walked there. It was like an hour walk, which is long, but it's like daytime along. I literally walked on the beach for an hour. It was beautiful. But then of course at night, I'm not going to do that. And I felt nervous because I haven't at night by myself taken a taxi. They don't have Ubers here where you're kind of like held accountable, right? In an
Yeah.
Uber, like if you get stuck in traffic, it'll like ding you and be like, "Are you okay? Like you have
Yeah.
like stuff." And I was feeling nervous about that, like going up to a taxi driver by myself. They're all men and negotiating the price and going all by myself. I was feeling not good about that. And then I made friends with this group of people and they were like, "Oh, like ride with us to the next bar." And it was really close to my house. So then they gave me a ride home. So I'm like, I don't know. My bad feeling was about the taxi and then I found a ride home. So, who's to say what would have happened? But
Now
anyways,
they
I'm
just know where you
sorry.
live.
Now they, yeah, no, they were nice. Sorry that I went off on a tangent.
That's okay.
At work, the security.
Oh yeah, the security. So they're all like most of them are like old army guys, they're like big uh, army vets and all these things. And
Are they hot? You're like,
to
no.
someone, they're
Like you're
not
saying,
they're not
you're saying
unattractive. If
big
any of you are listening
guys.
to this, I'm sorry. I do love all of you so
Do they
much.
listen to Giggly, which is really
Probably not.
our biggest fans?
Um, but most of them, like when I first said like, oh, I'm a psychic medium, they're like, okay, sure.
We're
Until
like, fair enough, fair
Yeah,
enough.
until that one day where I was like, Alex,
Oh
something is
yeah.
happening today. And then the next time I saw him, I was like, can you believe it? He was like, that was really weird. Like, he was like, that was actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and sorry, I don't know how it happened, but my foot was tangled in my microphone wire.
You're
Almost took
just
the whole
like,
thing down with me. Um, but anyway, so my silly goofy about it is that now I've I read Alex's birth chart the other day. I read another one of their birth charts the other day, like at work.
and are they like,
And then yes, and then another one, his name's Kyle. He came up to me the other day and was like, "Hey,
and
so when are you gonna read my fortune?" And I was like your tarot cards? And he was like, "Yeah, I want can we do that? Like I really would want to do that." And I was like, I got him.
God bless, goddess bless,
I was
goddess
like,
bless.
I'm reeling them all in.
This is what we need. We need more men. I saw, what was it? Because I posted a funny thing that was like, yes, I'm a woman in STEM, sorcery, tarot,
Yeah.
something. We need more men in
Energy
STEM.
work magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah.
We need more men in STEM.
Yeah. Need more men in
Our
STEM.
STEM. They believe in you.
I thought that was fun.
I think that's really cute and sweet.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love that. I
Um,
love when like friends or family or somebody at work that you don't expect to be on board with you, like they're not like
yeah.
openly like, oh, like I don't believe, but but when they kind of like show a little bit of enthusiasm or interest, like I don't know, it's like really touching, I think.
Yeah. No, it was very cool. And
It's
like
validating.
just the way that he said it was really
You
very
read my
sweet. Can
fortune.
you read my fortune? So when are you gonna like read my fortune? I was like, Kyle, anytime.
Hi, honey. Hi.
I know we have like a like staff party on sometime.
Are you
And
gonna bring your cards?
I want to, but I won't even be there. I'll be back home, so that
Um,
sucks.
Bummer.
But anyway, my other silly goofy is a tongue twister.
Ooh, okay.
You know Tom Felton?
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, Tom Felton
If
played
you don't know,
Draco.
stop listening. Get out of here. Just kidding.
Played Draco in the Harry Potter movies.
Just kidding. I love him. Not
And
Draco. I love Tom Felton.
yeah, and so I just started listening to his audiobook. Have you read it? Okay,
No.
so I'm listening to it, but
Does
um
he
he
read it
reads it.
himself? Love
Yeah.
that.
So it's really nice and it's sweet to listen to. And then one of the let me pull up the full name of this chapter. Um it's called A Day on Set, or like everything is like this, or blah blah blah.
Mm.
And it's so this one is A Day on Set or Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. So I was like, say that 5 times fast.
Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. Severus Snape's sausage. No. Severus. Severus. No. Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Severus. Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. Severus Snape's sausage. No. Okay, your turn.
Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. Severus Snape's sausage sandwich. Severus Snape's no. But I thought it was really funny.
That's cute. What was it? Was it like did Severus Snape eat the same sandwich from the
Yeah,
set
he's kind
lunch
of
every
talking about
day
how
or
like he was so afraid of Alan Rickman because he just had this like presence and this stare. And then
yeah.
he finally like actually had like an encounter with him, and he said that he Alan Rickman would get tea for everybody on set, crew, stage, like everybody, actors,
Yeah.
everybody would make sure everybody was accounted for. And
Yeah.
then and he just like realized like how sweet he was, and he just like had this moment with him. I can't even remember it now because I feel like when I'm listening to books I just
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'm not an audio learner. Like I
yeah.
do listen to audiobooks, but if I really want to like remember stuff, like if it's
Yeah,
like a book I'm learning from, can't do audio, will not
can't do
remember
audio.
it.
But
Oh, one of my
it was very sweet.
I think this one is a Rupert Grint memory of him, of Alan Rickman, but he was saying how he like they were doing that because they do like school like on set or whatever. And he like drew a sort of like caricature of Alan Rickman that wasn't very nice. And he like turned around and realized he was like right behind him. And they're showing the interview and then it like cuts to Alan Rickman in the interview and he's like, yeah, I still have that drawing. Like I'm quite fond of it. It's so cute because he was like
That is
so
so
scared.
cute. He was like going on about how so he said something to him like on set, like I almost said Draco. Tom Felton said something to Alan Rickman on set, and he was like,
Yeah.
and he's like, and I held my breath after I said it. And then like I think just like a hey, how are you? He's like, and that's all I could muster was like a how you doing? Like a very British, like, you all
Yeah.
right? Um, and, and like I don't know, he just like Alan Rickman had this response that seemed like very like cold, and he's like, but as he turned back I saw like the smallest slight of a smile, and he's like, and that's when I realized that he just has like the most dry sense of humor, and it
Yeah.
wasn't that he hated me or anything like that. And it was just very sweet. And he's like, and I also learned from him that fans didn't care about meeting Tom Felton, they cared about meeting Draco. So when I would go meet them, and he said that every single day, maybe not every single day, but like most days that they were filming, Alan Rickman had some kind of charity there that he would like interact with, whether it was like Make a Wish or whatever it was. But he had like the most interactions and made sure that he
Yeah.
always was like giving back and everything like that. But that's how he learned, like, oh, like they didn't want to meet Alan Rickman, they wanted to meet Snape. So he would like whack him on the side of the head. Like, or like say things like the way Snape
Yeah.
would say things. And he's like, and that's when I learned that people were getting upset with me because they were meeting Tom Felton and not Draco
Oh,
Malfoy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was just very cute. I do recommend so far. I'm almost done with it, but
Oh,
it was very cute.
I need to read it. I was thinking about how Because, well, I also just wasn't very, maybe this was just me as a kid because I was not hip to pop culture at all. I don't know. I like, I don't know if it's because I was like the oldest, I'm the oldest kid, so I didn't have like an older sibling showing me like movies and music and stuff, but I missed out on a lot of pop culture. I don't know. My parent, I don't know, we didn't have cable and stuff, but I didn't realize until I was older, like, because obviously all the actors in the films are British, and I didn't understand like the professors and the older, like the adults in the cast, how huge
Huge.
of actors like how star-studded,
Yeah,
right? I had no idea the history of those careers when I saw those movies being young because I don't know, I didn't know. But could you imagine like being a kid? I mean, I feel like they knew because they're freaking British.
yeah,
So they're like being a kid for most of them, one of their first acting jobs is huge, huge, huge franchise. And
huge.
you're on set with all of these like most famous actors and actresses of your like
Crazy.
that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that he talks about that and he's like, I think that he said something about how all of the kids, he's like, I think that we are all very, very lucky because we had all of them as role models. One, to teach us
Yeah.
how to act on set, how not to act on set, and just how to be like an actor
Yeah.
as a human, and not like, he's like, none of them have egos.
Yeah, they
All of
all turned
them
out
are
pretty
amazing.
good for being child stars. Like they're
Yeah.
not
And he's like, all of that is,
off the wall.
he's
Yeah.
like, I have to say, like, he's like, I think all of them, he's like, I think that's in part because of all of the remarkable role models that we all had.
Yeah.
Because, like Dame Maggie Smith,
Yeah.
like all of these crazy people. And he's like talking about how, what's his name, Robbie Coltrane, that played Hagrid.
Mhm.
He's like, he was so good with the adults and with the kids. Like he was so able to like change how he was. I don't know. It's just really nice
Yeah.
to hear that, like,
Hmm.
yeah, because you know how sometimes you learn about like a movie
Yeah,
that you really love and you're like, well, that
it's
just
all
ruined
ruined for you.
everything for me. Where you find out that like the actors hated each other and all the things. He's like, it's none of that.
Yeah.
Like they're all
I
so
feel
nice.
emotional right now. I start crying.
But yeah, so it's really nice.
Today I was watching, I don't know, just scrolled on my algorithm of like everyone queued up at like platform 9 3/4 and in
Yeah,
London, like whatever, and just some person trying to be funny and like running at it like full steam ahead and it not going through or whatever. I started to get emotional. I was like, I'm gonna go there and it's gonna be so cool. And I started to feel emotional about it. I was like, I'm gonna take my picture.
they have somebody that specifically like throws the scarf too, so that in the photo it looks like it was
New
very
profile
nice.
picture.
Yeah.
Me going to Hogwarts. Finally. Oh man. Were you um devastated on your 11th birthday?
I don't think that I was like into it enough at 11 that I understood,
Hmm.
because when did they even come out?
Did you read the
I didn't
books?
read the books. I
Oh.
didn't read the books until I was older, but I was very into the movies. Like I would watch the movies all the time. But I think if I had read the books, it would have been different.
Yeah. I was like crazed about the books. I remember I have this all specific memory because it completely turned my world upside down because I was so
Yeah.
hyper fixated on the books. But I remember when Harry Potter first blew up the books, but this was way before the movies were made. And I remember I can still see like in my mind's eye, like I was sitting with my mom in our this would have been our first like little house watching on TV like J.K. Rowling being like interviewed.
Yeah.
And them showing like little clips of like the front of the first Harry Potter book. Because only the first one was out and they're interviewing her, whatever. And my mom being like, "Oh, I bet you would like that book or whatever." Because I was already reading a ton. My mom taught me how to read like before I ever went to school. I think she was just bored because she didn't have a job yet at that point. And so I was like a maniac at the school library. I read super fast, so I was already like just like reading, reading, reading.
Yeah.
And I remember we went on a trip to visit my aunt, uncle. They were living in Seattle at the time. And I don't know, I think it must have been close to my birthday or something. So they gave me the first Harry Potter book as a present. And it was like shortly after that interview, and I was like, oh my God. And I remember I was sleeping in the living room and like everyone else had like spare rooms and stuff to stay in. So I was all alone and I stayed up all night and I read it. Done. One sitting.
That's crazy.
And then I reread, and then I immediately went back to the first page and I reread it. The first book I've read, I have no idea how many times because I just back to front, front to back, read it over and over and over again until the second book came out. And then I would do one, two, one, two, one, two until the third book came out. And I just kept maniacally reading them like that.
Whoa. That's wild. I mean, okay, so I was upset. Like I did want my letter. Like I
I
honestly had
genuinely
felt,
thought, I was like, it's real, and I'm for sure getting my letter.
yeah, I thought that like I had this belief that it was real,
Yeah,
but I was like, but people just aren't telling me.
right. I was like,
And then I was like, that's why I'm not getting a letter. Like I knew that I wouldn't get a letter because I was like, people don't want to tell me that it's real.
right. Well, I thought like I was like, oh, when my Hogwarts letter didn't come, I really wanted to go to that one, but I was like, oh, there's probably an American school that I'll get.
Which there
Like,
is. But yeah,
and
like
I
I
was like,
was
maybe they start
disappointed.
at a different year, and then they just haven't been invited yet. I'm like, I'm 30, going on 33 and a half. Maybe they just don't start yet. Maybe they start at
It's for
34.
adults. No, I know. I was disappointed. I like wanted to be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what's your silly goofy?
Okay. Wait, I have one written down, but I was thinking of a different one when we were talking just now. But now I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Okay. Mine is a question for us both to answer.
Okay.
What are your favorite bits right now? Like little things you like to say to be funny and repeat.
Um, okay, so I have one that I keep doing unintentionally, but
Mhm.
it just pops into my head every time I do it. You know, like okay, so every time I like try something or I find something new or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's good. What pops into my head every time is in Finding Nemo. In Finding Nemo, when they're at the meeting, fish are friends, not food. And
Yeah.
and then Bruce gets smacked in the
I'm not remembering, but keep
or
going.
Dory gets smacked in the face with the mask and she starts bleeding and then Bruce smells it and he like goes in shark mode
Mm.
and he like inhales the blood and he's like I have to pull it up for because I'm not gonna do it justice. But he goes, "Ooh, that's good."
Ooh, that's good. I wrote up this
Oh, the
question and I didn't
ads.
even think of my own bits that I do. It's hard. I feel like I have more bits that I do when I'm like with like friends more and stuff.
Yeah, hang on.
Ooh.
Like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? He goes like this. Oh, the plaything is on. And his eyes
The
go all
smile.
his eyes go all black because he's back into shark mode and not fish are friends.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that's what pops into my head. But other than that, it's like I don't know. I can't think of them off the top of my head. They just happen.
I know, I was trying to just think just now. Me, I'm like, I'm prepared. I have a silly goofy and I didn't think of bits. One that I like to on purpose say the specific ocean instead of the Pacific Ocean. I think that's really funny. I also like to say apparently is one of our favorite bits.
That is a good one. Apparently,
That one's forever.
yeah,
I was thinking about how like me and like my childhood best friends, like if someone said like one word wrong or something really dumb once, like 20 years ago, like to this day, we still bring it up and
yeah.
say it. I was trying to think of one like that. I did think of one, because I don't know why I was thinking of funerals. That's weird. But my friend, my friend, this is when we were in middle school, and Hollister was all the rage. In our
Of
middle
course.
school, like it was like status symbol,
Yeah.
like you had to
No,
have
of
some
course.
Hollister. And I had like one Hollister shirt. My mom was like, no, we don't shop there. So I had like one Hollister shirt that I was like, I can wear this twice a week at most, but I gotta wear it. Really, we are 33 now, and she said this when she was like 12, but we still bring it up all the time that she was like when I die, bury me in my Hollister clothes. Or like she's like, I want to wear a Hollister outfit. So dead ass, if she dies, we're gonna dress her in a Hollister outfit.
Oh no.
We're like, bury me in my Hollister clothes.
Bury me in Hollister. That's
Oh,
so
that's
funny.
one. I like to say instead of human beings, I like to say human beings, and no one ever hears it, but like beans.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
that
know
that's a
why that one, every time I read it, really bothers me.
I think it's really funny. Um, I don't know. I don't know. The
Okay.
other day we saw a girl playing a ukulele, but my friend said, "Oh, look, a Honolulu." So I'm going to call them Honolulus for the rest of
Not a
my life.
not a Honolulu. That's that's not right.
I was like, ukulele, but you were
So
so
close.
close.
So close. Um, I can't even think of anything right now. I always end up like slipping into some kind of accent at some point, like a British
Yeah, me
accent or
too.
Australian accent or something. But
Australian, and I think Australian pops out of my mouth more often, but British does too,
yeah,
for sure.
I don't
I
know.
was wondering if British and Australian people slip into American accents
I don't
to be funny.
think so.
I feel like I slip into my British accent when I'm like upset about something or like being dramatic, and then
Yeah,
my Australian one comes out when I'm just
being
goofing.
silly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think same. Sometimes I'll just be like, well, that's not what you want. It's not good. I never said it
So
was
there's
good.
like, ooh, that's good. And
Yeah.
there's, oh,
Oh,
oh, that's not what you want. I
yeah.
can't, I'm
You
not gonna
know,
do
I
it.
just I don't know.
Sorry, somebody just messaged me a logistical thing, so I'm gonna do this while also talking. Um, check on this. Scroll down. Is there a button? Oh yeah.
Um, well,
So let's get
I
into
was gonna start it and then I was like, I don't know if she's still going. So I was like, actually, I said well, and then I was like, actually, I guess I can't continue that sentence because I was like, maybe she's not ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. I don't know why I can't get my bangs to look normal. They looked so cute until we got onto the call.
I think they
Maybe
look
that's better.
absolutely gorgeous. That's what I've been practicing my British.
Thanks, bruv.
Thanks, bro. Darling, you look absolutely gorgeous. Well, I remember my other silly goofy. Just the classic moment when you're seeing someone new and you get them to ask their mother for their time and location.
Dang.
I did that this week. I was like, "Ah."
Thought we knew it though.
And it was a good thing I did
I
because
say
the
we.
time the time was we did have it, but I had a hunch. I had a hunch. I was like, I feel like you need to ask. And I was right to ask because it was not the rise. The time was wrong, so the rising was wrong. It's not.
Mm,
I'll update you. Everything else is the same, but not a Virgo rising, a Libra rising.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Which changes a lot because Virgo rising, I'm a Virgo, and I was like,
Yeah.
but obviously I put both of our birth charts into a compatibility thing, and it was
Sinister.
great. I did also look at the astrocartography. But Yeah, I was giggling. Every time I do, I'm like, like things are getting serious, asking for the birth time and location.
Yeah. Even if
We
they're
love to
not
see it.
I'm like, what time were
Oh
you
yeah, I'm
born
like, when were
in?
you born and where?
No reason.
Can I get a copy of your birth certificate? Just send me a screenshot.
Yeah.
Just send me a photo. Yeah. Okay. Hold
So,
on. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Okay. So we know the holidays,
yes.
they can be stressful. It can feel like you're floating around. You can't, you're like, here's what happens to me. This is so silly, goofy. I turn into a teenager when I go home. Like, Dad, why would you say that? No, stop.
Yeah. You know that
But
episode of
anyways,
New Girl where she goes back to Portland and stays with her dad and she's like, Dad, I'm talking to
yeah,
my friends. Get off
literally.
the phone.
That's me when I go home. I'm like, what happened to all of this spiritual growth? What
Yeah.
happened to I'm
Who is
healed?
she? Yeah.
Who is who is this? Who is
I'm the
this?
same way. It's just, or on, I think we talked about this last week, on How I Met Your Mother, they call it revertigo.
Yes.
You just
Yes, you texted
revert
me that when I put it
back
on
to
my
to an
story.
old self.
Literally. Yes, absolutely. And I think too, that's one thing is like to just kind of like give yourself some grace and compassion for that because
Yeah.
I think when I was like a few years ago when I was newer on my like spiritual journey and like actually like acknowledging and working on healing this stuff, I used to be really hard on myself when I would go home and I would just feel really like angsty again. And like I love my family, like I love going home. I'm making it sound like it's so terrible, but I do find myself getting like I was a very reactive, triggered, angsty teenager, and I do find myself falling back into some of that where I'm like, wait, why did I get so defensive? Like if I was
Yeah.
like out and about, like that wouldn't have bothered me or like, but it's like being in the same home environment, being with those people, like just like don't give yourself a hard time about that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all trying to do better for yourself
Yeah.
mostly, but for them too. But it's like I think it can be triggering when you feel like you've grown a lot and everybody else around you isn't doing any of that work. And you're like,
Yeah.
why haven't you? How can you not see that? Or I'm like, I can
Yeah.
see so clearly, like this little thing that you could just decide not to let bother you anymore, but then it really bothers me.
Yeah. No, 100%. I do that too, where you're just like, especially if everybody is very reactive. I have a lot of
Yeah.
very reactive. My family was very reactive with each other. I have two Aries moons, a Scorpio moon, and I think like a Gemini moon in my family. And I can't remember what my other brother is right now, but there's a lot of just like very reactive
Yeah.
energy in my house.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, it's just can definitely be very like triggering to be back in that environment when you're just like,
Yeah.
it's so easy to one, just like not say that. Like, you don't have to
Right.
say everything. Like, you don't have to say everything. Not everything needs to be said. You could just kind
Yeah.
of like let things go. And I think that's like one of the things that I have written down is just be like, okay, just remember that like just take a breath. Like you don't need to respond to
Some of the
everything.
things that are said to me, I'm just like like why
Yeah.
would you say
Why
that?
would you say that? Like
Like
there's no
last
need
summer
for
when I went
that.
home and someone told me like nobody cares. Like what you post online is weird. Like nobody cares. And I was like,
Why would
why would you say that? Like why does it just don't follow me then?
I
Like
just saw somebody
I'm
say,
like why would you say that to your family? That is
yeah,
so weird to say that. Just don't
that's
follow me.
exactly. Or just like don't like talk about it with everybody else. Like you don't
Yeah,
you don't
talk
need
shit
to say
behind my
it to
back.
me.
I don't,
You don't need to say that to
I was
me.
like, what?
Yeah. But I actually just saw this therapist being like, here are like four things that you could say when somebody says something mean to you. You could just be like, how do you feel when you say that?
Right. I learned like a good
Like, oh, that's a
thing.
weird thing to say out loud.
Yeah, like, that's interesting thing to
Yeah.
say. Or like if family tends to ask you sort of like out of line questions, be
Hmm.
like, oh, that's an interesting question to
Yeah.
ask
I
me.
guess one of my bits, I don't know if you can consider this a bit, but I love telling people when they say things out loud. I'm like, oh, that was an inside thought.
Oh, that was an inside thought. Inside
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that should have been an inside thought.
Yeah. I don't really like my like questions like this don't really bother me anymore, but I am from just like that small town and the mentality, especially with like my one grandma like always is say it making grabbing my hand, oh, still no ring.
Yeah.
Or like when are we this woman has like 87 grandchildren and great grandchildren combined and she's concerned about the great grandchild I'm gonna give her. And I'm
Yeah.
like, babes,
Um,
it doesn't matter. You got 100 of them. You don't need
yeah.
it from me. You
Yeah.
don't need it from me. You like, it's okay. You
Yeah.
have plenty.
When my dad would do that to me, he would always be like, oh, you like, like, when are you going to settle down? Like, when are you going to find somebody? I just started sending him screenshots from all of the dating apps. And then he was like, I won't ask anymore.
See, my dad will like make comments about that too. Not so much anymore because now my brother he got engaged and now he is married and so now he's the eyes are on
Somebody's
him
done
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm the oldest, right? So it's always been kind of like for the longest time looking at me and like you like yeah like my I'm from a small town. My parents started like they had me. I was accidentally they were still in college, but like they started their family really young, like because me and Luke were pretty close together. Like they had more kids, got married really young. But I was just like, Dad, like you push me about like this stuff. But like if I were to call you right now and be like, yeah, so I'm pregnant, like you would not be happy with me. So stop acting like you want that to happen.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what do you mean you got
You
knocked
should just do it. You should just do it on a
off?
random day and just
Spook
be
him?
like, see, stop asking.
See? Told you.
Click.
I mean, he's pretty, I mean, he's more concerned with my dating life first, for sure.
Yeah.
He wants me to find a husband, but like, I called him and we were catching up about some stuff, and I was like, oh, like, I made this friend, or like, we're meeting back up. He's like, what kind of friend? I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It is a boy. I don't know. I don't know yet. Oh, okay. Starts asking all these questions. These questions will I be wasting my time or not? Is his line of questioning basically? He's so concerned about. It. Bless him. He thinks I'm gonna die alone, and I'm like, I'd be fine with that.
You've got me.
I have. Oh, me and Pam in a house full of cats and dogs. It doesn't sound like a
Love
bad
it.
life.
Love it. Can I tell you what I actually realized my dream is?
What?
I think probably in like 10 years at
Yeah.
least, this is what I would like it to look
You,
like.
me.
You, me. Honestly, you're invited. I did imagine you there also.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but it would include you moving to the beach with me.
Okay.
So still
I
living
can
at
do
the beach.
that in 10
Yeah.
years for yeah, I
Living on
can
the
settle down
beach
somewhere.
and then having a big business space that looks
Mm.
kind of like a cozy house on the outside. And when you
Mm.
walk in, it's a super cute bookstore. Super cute. There's like
Yes.
a little teeny cafe, not like a big deal cafe, but there's like a place where you can like get tea, some coffee, some snacks, whatever. There are cozy places to sit in the bookstore. And then you go through the back, there's like a door. And then in that room is like a whole like apothecary and
I
like
knew you were
witchy
gonna say
thing.
apothecary.
And like we do readings and stuff back there. And I think that is what I want.
It's like a practical magic house vibes.
Oh, I've actually never seen Practical Magic.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's so good. You should watch it. It's a
Yeah.
Christmas movie. It's not.
Harry Potter is a Christmas movie.
But I could, if I say that, you'll watch it.
Yes. But yeah, um, that's what I realized. We have not talked about energy protection, but
It's 40 minutes. We're like, these are 1 hour episodes because we're recording back to back. Okay, let's get into it.
but that's my dream.
But we're having fun. Well, I send things all the time to my friends that I'm like, I think we should, because people have done this where they're like, buy a plot of land and basically make their own little commune, but it's like their best
Yes.
friends.
Yeah. That's what brought me there was because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, me and Sadie could have this little space.
And then I just saw one where like seven like girlfriends bought this like mansion because they like all pooled their resources and they bought this beautiful big house and they're just gonna live in it all together. And I was like, exactly.
That's great.
That's ideal. And then
Yeah.
we can get another house next door for boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, you
Yeah.
know. But the best friends live in this
Maybe a
house, the
horse.
partners. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could have a horse,
Whose
six
horse is that?
cats,
I
four
also love saying
dogs,
that one.
goats. Wait, what is it? What's it
You know,
from?
I don't know. It's just a TikTok sound. Some guy did it. It's really old sound at this point, but where he's like, whose horse is that?
I don't, that one wasn't on my algorithm.
Seen this?
Wait, have you been scrolling the it's with Pepe or whatever, the Muppet,
Those are my
those living
favorite right now.
like a prayer or whatever the song
So
is, and you
funny.
scroll and there's these stories. I have been like cackling, laughing out loud. That's my nighttime routine right now.
They're so funny.
So how I get in a good mood before I go to sleep. They're so insane. I actually have a really good one that I need to articulate into a story and
Okay.
make one. I won't, if I tell you it now, it's gonna be a long story. We only have 20 minutes left.
Okay, wait. You have to just because.
Okay.
Wait. Whose horse is that? Can you hear it?
I feel like that's giving Vine energy.
It is very Vine energy. He's just, whose horse is that?
Whose horse is that?
I love saying that one too. Okay.
Okay. Let's go through some practical tips for getting grounded
Practical magic for
and
Christmas time.
protecting our energy.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay. Okay. So for getting grounded, one, I want to remind everybody that I have a great like grounding tapping on my YouTube. I think
Yes, can
it's
confirm.
like Get Grounded AF, something like that. It's a great like daily like morning one. I think it's less than 10 minutes, I think. I'm trying to make them all like 10 minutes or less, so that they're
Yeah.
easy to incorporate in your day to day. So that's a great one.
Yes.
But I also like you can, this is really simple, especially if you enjoy like visualization. Let's say you do this in the morning or like literally like in the car before you walk into the holiday party. Just like take a moment. This can take like 30 seconds and you could do a couple of different things. You could imagine like your roots growing down into the earth to like ground your energy and send any like anxiety you're feeling or any just like worries about like how people are going to talk to you or anything like that. You can just kind of like send that down into the roots to get neutralized by the earth and then take a couple deep breaths and like draw in that like earth energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like to do that and then imagine like a couple deep breaths, just like seeing like light from the earth traveling up my roots and like filling up my body. And then
Yes.
that expanding like into an orb of light around me. So that's good to get grounded and then also to like expand a little orb and set an intention of like only like good energy, only nurturing energy, like can get through my bubble, and anything else that would otherwise be draining or not feel good just bounces off my little bubble and gets reflected back.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's really simple. That's how I like to do like a quick little visualization. So you could do that first thing in the morning. You could do it on the drive over if you're riding in the car, or you pull up and you're just like really quick, like, let me put my roots down, my bubble up.
Yes. I well, if you've anyone has ever done any of my like moon rituals, you know that I do the bubble every morning. That's
Mm.
like my favorite thing to do. So, and I'll if I do the roots, then that's the same way I do that as well. But what I do is like I just imagine myself with a big, 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 literally, if you've seen Wicked or Wizard of Oz, like Glinda's bubble. Like you were in
Mm,
that little
mm-hmm.
bubble.
Yeah.
It could be whatever color you want it to be. I usually imagine like a big white bubble.
Yeah.
Um, if you're looking for some extra protection, you could imagine like a big black bubble surrounding you, like
Yeah.
big, like
Yeah.
crazy. And I do the same thing, set the intention, like this is my energy bubble. I was like, only things that are in highest good of all, harm to none can
Yep.
enter this bubble. Anything that like wishes harm, has any ill intent, or like even like tries to trick me in any way is not
Mm-hmm.
welcome,
Mm-hmm.
does not have permission. I'm like, I set that. I'm like, does not have permission, cannot enter. Um, and yeah, I think that's all I say. So do that, imagine that. And then like you can imagine, I literally like imagine myself like pushing it as far out, up, down to the sides, in front, back, whatever, as you can, as you can make it. And then another thing that I like to do this whenever you shower,
Mm.
is literally imagine, well, first, I like using a salt scrub, especially
Yeah.
if it's like,
Salt is cleansing.
yeah,
Yeah.
just so
Think
imagine you're
about how good you feel when
scrubbing.
you go in the oceans because it's full
Yeah,
of salt. You feel like a
yeah.
new person.
So imagine like scrubbing away all the energy,
Mm-hmm.
and then imagine the water rushing over you is like literally washing it all
Yeah.
down into the drain. And you can literally imagine it like swirling down the drain into whatever land.
Yep.
And then I will like do my grounding roots ritual
Mm-hmm.
after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I like to do before bedtime is, I think I've talked about this before, but one thing that I learned to do is like you hold your arms all the way out. You don't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do it because it kind of is like a visual representation of it. But you hold your arms all the way out
Oh,
and you say, I now release and clear
I now
all,
release and clear.
all
I'm gonna do
negative
it with you.
energy
All negative energy
from every person, place, and thing
from every person, place, and thing
that I encountered today
that I encountered today
through all dimensions and timelines
through all dimensions and timelines
through the end of time
through the end of time.
or until the end of time,
Mm.
whatever. And you repeat it literally, and then your hands will start closing. It's like you've
Oh,
cleared all this energy.
yeah.
And then I'll also usually like ask Archangel Azrael to
I
take
like
everything that
to,
needs
I
to.
haven't done it that way where I say clear, but when I'm feeling really scattered and drained, I do similar vibes, but I say like, I call back my energy from every corner of the
Mm-hmm.
universe, all time,
Yes.
space, dimension, and release any energy that's mine. And I'll say like, this is a good one. In the moment, if somebody's pissing you off or just annoying you or making you feel uncomfortable, or you just can't place. I do this a lot when I'm in public places and all of a sudden I feel anxiety or all of a sudden I feel a rush of like, I know it's not my emotion. Like I'll feel like angry for like, I'll just feel like anger
Yeah.
shoot through me or something. And I just say, oh, this isn't mine. Return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. Works like a fucking charm, especially if you get anxious in public places. Everybody's anxious nowadays, unfortunately. We live in a
Yes.
really overstimulating world.
Very overstimulating.
And I learned that for me, I was like chronically anxious for like a decade. And then um I learned that I was like mostly experiencing other people's anxiety. I don't struggle with that anymore. That's not the case for everybody. I understand
Yeah.
that, but for me, it was very much of me picking up everybody else's and a lot of other work I did on that too, not just that. But now when I feel anxiety, I'm like, who's it? Whose is this? And just and it's not harming anybody. It's not yours. So just return to sender, return to
Yeah.
sender, return to sender. It's okay. And I've heard from so many people, like they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how immediately that works." When I'm like, I used to have like panic attacks before I would go grocery shopping because it was such a
Mm.
miserable experience for me.
Yeah.
Like
The
I
grocery
have to
store is
like
also really
hype
stressful.
myself up. I'd get so anxious, and
Um,
feel so bad after. And now it's like literally whatever. So,
yeah.
anyways.
What I like to do instead of return to sender, um,
Hmm.
that way it's not even like going back to them. I always just say like, I like take this, I send it to the light, send to light, or the
Mm,
return to the light or whatever. And then
mm-hmm.
it's just like whoosh, they don't have to deal with it. I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's out of
Yeah.
here.
It's out of here. Another great grounding and protection tool, if you have it, or if you want to go out and find some, is grounding crystals or protective crystals.
Hmm.
So really any black crystal is going to be protective and grounding. So like black tourmaline, obsidian, um, other ones that are grounding would be like smoky quartz is a great grounding
Yeah.
crystal. Trying to think of more. Agate is really grounding. But also I think like not just like having them on you, like I know a lot of I don't wear bras, but a lot of bra wearing people like to keep them in their bras or in your pockets. But I also think like it's really useful for actually like the tactile piece of it, like when you're feeling anxious, like slipping your hand into your pocket and kind of like touching the crystal,
Yeah.
not just because of the crystal energy, but it kind of brings you back to the present and makes you go stop spiraling. You're like,
Yeah.
it kind of like it helps. It's almost like a fidget. Like I'm very like I like to hold my crystals and handle them. Anytime I'm like when I'm doing readings or like and I just want to keep my energy open and grounded, or if I'm just meditating and I can't focus, like just having something in my hand where I'm kind of like rubbing it, feeling it, I feel like brings you back into your body, which helps a lot with grounding too.
Yeah. I think we talk a bit more about that too in our crystals episode. If you want
Yeah.
to go listen to that. But yeah, no, I do the same thing. Just kind of like needing, that's also why I like wearing my rings because then I can just like kind of play with the ring. But I'm
Yeah.
not wearing them today. But
I'll show you like this. I play with this one
um
a lot because it's a little bit loose and it's bigger and it's my mom, so I like to
yeah.
feel it. But yeah.
Um so yeah, that definitely any like grounding crystals. Um or the other thing that I like to do that because people won't really don't even like notice that it's happening is just like box breathing,
Mm-hmm.
doing like box breaths.
Yeah. 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 Or just yeah. Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just paying attention to the breath. Like
So counting in and then holding and then out. And you can do
yeah.
that anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Also, I know obviously it's December. A lot of you are in like full on winter or kind of winter, but like literal like earthing or grounding. It doesn't have to be like barefoot on the ground, but if it's not like frozen tundra, terribly cold, you could always go out and just like literally putting your hand like just like leaning up against a tree. You don't have to like hug it and look like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like leaning up against a tree, if you have like a tree in the yard, like you go out and get a breath of fresh air, but like touching a tree is the same as being barefoot on the ground. You're getting the earthing benefits. So if it's not like -30 like it gets in Wisconsin, but you're somewhere where like that's not unreasonable to just go outside, take a few deep breaths, lean up against or put your hand on a tree. That's a great way to get grounded too.
Really quick, are you squeaking?
There's birds doing that outside.
Okay. It's like, what is happening?
They're really squeaky. I
Very
don't know what kind of
squeaky.
birds
It
they
sounds
are.
like, I don't know if that's her
I
chair.
sit out on that porch and I try to see the birds all the time. There are really cute squirrels, and I saw a really big lizard the other day, but I cannot spot. Well, there's really big birds that fly overhead. Now I'm distracted. I like sitting out there and watching all the wild, but I
I
can't
like
find the
that too.
squeaky birds. Can't find them. Don't know what they are.
Get the Merlin app. That's my favorite thing. That's the bird app that I use.
Oh,
And you record and it tells you.
Merlin.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay, side note,
But
really quick, because you just said Merlin. I feel like I'm seeing Merlin everywhere. Is
really,
that a deity that people work with?
I don't
Because I
know
was
if
like,
he's
is
technically a
Merlin reaching out
deity,
to me or like an
but
energy?
he's like Hannah
Do
works with
people
him,
work
so you
with
could always
Merlin?
ask him. Yeah.
Hmm.
Or you can ask her about him.
I see him everywhere. I'm like, what's going on, Merlin? My boy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
grounding.
yes. And if it is really cold and you have plants inside, you can use your
Hmm.
plants
Yeah, that too.
for the
Yeah.
grounding. Then you're like, I'm not gonna go outside because it's freezing. But you have like nature inside, then you can use that as well.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, just going into the bathroom anytime you need to or whatever, taking a few deep breaths. Also, like speaking of crystals, like if you do have like crystal jewelry, I wear this amber every time I'm like travel day or around a lot of people or I had a lot of calls today, so I always wear my amber because it's great protective energy. I have this new labradorite too, which I think is also quite protective.
Mm.
Um, but you can get protective jewelry. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like setting the intention
I was
is
just
like
gonna
the
say that.
simplest thing. It's just
Yeah.
like Archangel Azrael or Archangel Michael, you could say a little prayer or intention to them, but you can literally just say like, I'm setting the intention today that like nobody is draining my energy. I feel good. I feel grounded. I feel like my boundaries are strong. Whatever. Just set your intention for the day.
Yes.
Nobody's I have unfuckwithable energy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Just setting your like your intention is
Your
strong.
intention.
Is that what I said?
I don't know. You said it funny.
Intention is like one of the strongest things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I think like Pam brought up a good point earlier, just like having like if you know certain people that you love and you do want to talk to, but you know they have a tendency to sometimes make comments or ask questions that you don't really want to talk about, just giving yourself a little script or a little like, oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
You
Come up with
could
a little
literally,
plan.
yeah, come your script could be I have to go to the bathroom immediately.
Oh, I have to take this. Let's see. I'm seeing if I have any other notes. I think too, just like reminding ourselves like everyone has like the best of intentions 99% of the time, right? Like they're asking because they're curious or they're they're making comments because they like to them, they're worried for you and they're trying to protect you, even though you know, like that doesn't like make sense or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So like kind of just like anchoring into um like just like when it's like family or friends or even like I don't know, like the work holiday party or whatever, just like grounding into your own like sense of just like love for yourself and others and like not taking things personally and just being able to I don't know, like my policy like there's times for us to stand up for ourselves, of course, for sure, but typically I think in these like holiday situations it's a lot of like unintentional kind of like I don't know, weird questions or whatever. Oh, no, still no boyfriend or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's like just kind of like letting stuff like that like roll off your back. It's not worth
Yeah.
your energy to get upset about it. It's or whatever if someone wants to question like the way you live your
Yeah.
life. Oh, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to pick a place to live? Don't wanna. I don't know, just
Yeah.
like letting that
Yeah.
stuff kind of like roll off our back when it's not worth our energy or it's not necessary to like defend ourselves or our spiritual beliefs or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think those are my notes. Visualizing crystals, setting really good intentions, having a plan, some little escape routes or things you're
Yeah.
gonna say in response to. And just breathing.
Yeah. And if you do have like a hard time like just letting things roll off your back, because I know I do sometimes and I'm just like, that was a stupid
Yeah.
fucking question to ask. Um,
Mm.
you can always just like turn the questioning to them, like, oh, like how's the house? Well, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like
Exactly. Just
ignore
like
the
change the
question and
subject.
change the subject.
Absolutely. Like pretend you got a notification on your phone. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 minute. Oh,
Yeah.
anyways. Oh, wait. So did you
Yeah,
take that
exactly.
trip? And just kind of
Did
like
you, yeah.
drop
How's the
something or
third
like
divorce, Susan? I don't know a Susan, but
They're like, oh, still no husband? And I'm like, how's
still
your
no
third
husband.
husband?
Yeah.
Not my family. Not many divorces in my family. Maybe there should be more. I don't know. Hope nobody
Whoops.
our family if you're listening. Um, no, but
No, not like that, but just like turning the questioning around. Oh, how's the
yeah.
dog? How's this?
Yeah.
How's the job?
Yeah. Cause
Oh,
a short distraction so they
yeah.
don't notice that you're changing
Pull
the
somebody
subject.
else into the
Yeah. Grab
conversation.
some,
Like,
oh, so it's good to
yeah. Start
see you.
playing with the dog. Do
Yeah.
something else.
Oh, I gotta go refill my drink.
Yeah.
Need a extra strong one to deal with you. Just kidding. No,
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like personally, like, I don't have too, well, it depends on the side of the family. I guess, I mean, it's not every holiday. I've just had some jarring experiences of stuff with my spiritual beliefs or, yeah, just I genuinely do not take any offense to comments about my like lack of children or husband. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am having the time of my life. I am good.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. Seriously.
We'll love if that happens. Okay if it doesn't. But yeah, that stuff doesn't really bother me. But I get how it bothers some people. And it is unnecessary
Yeah.
and a little like
You paying for this kid?
doesn't matter. Yeah.
That's gonna be my next answer. You paying?
You paying? Like, actually, I'm actually starting a fund for my future child. If you want to Venmo me at this account, here's the QR
Yeah.
code.
$40,000.
Once I hit this goal,
Yeah.
this fundraising goal, then I will bear a child.
Yeah.
Make it 100,000.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost at least that much.
At minimum. Anyway.
That's so funny. I hope we're all feeling more empowered this holiday season. These are also good tips for
Everyday
travel, for
life.
anytime you're around a
Yeah.
lot of people. Yeah, you're going out with friends and you find yourself getting drained, but you want to go have fun. Any, like literally everyday life.
Also,
These are
though, if
all
you're getting drained
helpful.
by the same group of friends, like maybe find a different group of friends.
Well, I was more thinking if they like want to go out to like bars or restaurants and not
Okay.
drink you.
It's like,
Not if it's the friend group, get new friends.
yeah, get
But
new
if it's like
friends.
when you guys hang out at home, it's fun and not draining, but if they want to you want to go out with them and then it is. That's what I meant by that. But yeah,
Yeah.
get new friends if they're draining you every week, girlfriends.
Yes. Well,
Okay. Well, we have to go record another episode, so
catch you next time.
next week on Giggly Witches, we'll be talking about the winter solstice and celebrating Yule. It's going to be so
Yeah.
fun. So make sure wherever you enjoy tuning into Giggly Witches that you're subscribed. We're on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. And if you are on Apple or Spotify, leave us a review. It helps us a lot and we really appreciate it. Um, you can follow us on social media. We're at Giggly Witches on TikTok and Instagram. And we have our new episodes come out on Thursdays. You can find me, Sadie, at I am Sadie Olson on TikTok and Instagram, and Magic with Sadie on YouTube, where I post tapping videos and there's some meditations and some spells and master classes on there. And right now I am booking 2025 year ahead readings, which have been so cool and so fun. So I don't know when this comes out if there will be any spots left for before January 1st. At this time, there's two, I think. But I'll be offering them in January as well. So what we do is we sit down, I do some psychic channeling without cards, without anything else, see what messages come through. And then we do my signature year ahead tarot spread together, which is very conversational. You reflect with me a lot. We go through key themes, opportunities, challenges, and what you see, the outcome of your best year ever being next year. And then based on the psychic channeling that came through and what came through in our conversation and the tarot spread, we create a roadmap for 2025 of the things that you can focus on energetically and practically to reach your goals. So it's really, really fun. It's 1-to-1, 90 minutes. And I'd love to see you for one. And I have my classic Hot Witch tarot readings too. If you just need some quick guidance, more general, you don't want to do the year ahead, but you want to get a little reading, I got that too. Oh, and we're doing year ahead scripting in the membership. So come do that with us as well. Okay.
Nice.
Pam, back to you.
Thanks, Sadie. Um, you can find me at Velvet Snake Oracle on TikTok and Instagram. I have the beginner's guide to tarot reading for free, link in the show notes. And that's what I've got now. But I am working on a bunch of things to come next year for reading wise. So if you've got any opinions on what you want to see, let me know. And we'll see what we can
Astrocartography.
do. And I guess that's true. Related to human design, astrology, tarot, witchcraft, mediumship, energy work, all the things. These are all things that I'm working on building offers for next year. So,
Yay!
hooray!
Hooray! Follow us. Drop a comment if you're on YouTube or send us a DM about the bits you like to do. Let us know if
Yes.
this helped. And we'll see you next week, Giggly Witches. Bye.
Bye.